As I open my mouth, nothing comes out. Did I stop breathing? A waterfall of tears mixed with mascara cascades down my face. I heard the MC call my name. Can I run away? I can't. I take a step forward, moving to the podium, script in hand, wiping my eyes, smearing the mascara more. Backstage, teasing Jean, the founder of Beads of Courage, the recipient of the fundraiser I was about to speak at, how I lived vicariously through her travels, and where had she just returned from. I was unprepared for her answer and how it would throw me. I gathered myself at the podium. I looked out into the audience of 200 people. They were eating and sipping champagne. And I took a breath, and I spoke. So sorry, as I wiped the tears. I was backstage with Jean, who you'll meet in a minute. She just said she had spent a few days at Phoenix Children's Hospital, visiting the burn unit. I wish my family and I had had that kind of support when I was burned as a toddler. I said, this 60-year-old secret had finally been shared for the very first time, and in front of 200 people I barely knew. The silence was palpable. I didn't know what to do with it, so I presented my rehearsed speech. Before my life was so altered dramatically, I could always be found right by my mom's side. I was her best friend. I was her shadow. I started life as a preemie after spending time in an incubator. So my mom, when I came home, spent as much time with me as she could. She took her then 2-year-old to explore new places and meet new people. On a beautiful, cold, sunny fall day in upstate New York, we walked out of the house and down our street, crunching the newly fallen leaves under our feet, to a neighbor's house for a mother-daughter tea party. It was 1956. Tea was not the drink of choice. Coffee was. As I followed my mom into the house, the smell of those fresh-baked cookies was overwhelming. The table was set so fancy, like you'd see on television. Table covered with lace and real china and cups and saucers and real silver. Dessert plates, all adorning this beautiful high-top kitchen table. As I climbed up to the bench beside the table, all I saw was that plate of cookies. I had to have one. I reached for a cookie and toppled the 40-cup, freshly cooked pot of coffee off the table and all over me. My brand new snowsuit acted like a magnet, drawing the heat into my body. 40% of my body, from my breast to my navel, was covered with 3rd and 4th degree burns down to the bone. I was rushed to the hospital. No 911, no ambulance. The woman whose home we were at was a nurse. My parents were told as I was examined they didn't know if I would live or die. After months of recovery, I came home. But I came out of that hospital a changed girl. No longer happy, no longer curious. This life-altering trauma, my scalding, made me afraid of everyone and everything, including my own shadow. I believed I was damaged goods. I carried embarrassment and shame and guilt. I was lonely, and I was alone. I couldn't even look at myself. I did everything I could to be invisible to myself and to others. I covered my bedroom mirrors with sheets. All through school, I never raised my hand, even when I knew the answers. I hid behind my mom, behind my clothes and that fur of my grandmother's. I hid behind a small, carefully chosen group of friends. I hid my smile. I hid behind my career. And I always spoke with my hand over my mouth to cover the buck teeth and the big spaces in between them. I never realized I was really covering and hiding my face and my body. But at 50, I took charge. I got braces and my master's degree. I needed these things for me. I knew I could make a difference, have an impact on me and on others too. How I presented myself, my looks, had been so wrapped up in my trauma and my burns. So getting braces and my MBA was a deliberate act to overcoming the habit of covering my mouth and overcoming the imposter syndrome that plagued me throughout my career. Surviving was something I never thought about. I simply did it. Each day I put one foot in front of the other, supported by my parents. They encouraged me every day to live life as normally as possible. But we never talked about the accident. Thriving, though, was another story. It was not an overnight change. It was a process that unfolded over decades as I worked to overcome fears and phobias and self-doubt, tormenting me every day. At 65, that day on that stage, September 12, 2019, changed my life. There was an awakening in me. I couldn't believe I had just shared that secret, hidden for so many years. So I started sharing my story. Not an easy process, which is why I read notes and don't speak from memory. I did find the importance of doing so, telling my story, and I began to share it more freely, more openly, more deeply. And I find that I breathe more deeply and more easily. I've learned a lot about myself in those few years. I've learned I'm not alone. I've learned that when I am vulnerable and share my story, people lean in because they recognize their story in mine. We've all experienced trauma in our lives. Our journeys are different, yet there are similarities. The threads run deep. We traverse the roller coaster ride with its ups and downs because healing is not a linear process. I've learned that when I shed my secrets and share my story, my healing journey expands. The weight lifts off our shoulders. We stand more erect. We build our confidence, and we give others permission to share their story so they too begin their healing. Now I share my story with live audiences and in my memoir, Becoming Visible, Overcoming Trauma-Based Fears, Phobias, and Self-Doubts, published last April. I finally understand why I survived. The wondering, why me? Those questions are long gone. Today I say, why not me? I'm simply grateful. Grateful to be alive and truly thriving. At 72, I'm a successful coach, author, and now a speaker. I'm intentionally being visible, stepping out of my comfort zone like standing on this, what should be a stage. All because I reached for a cookie all those years ago. I found my real purpose, sharing my story, advocating for burn prevention, and blood donation because I survived from plasma infusions. So I'm the chairman of the board of the Red Cross of Southern Arizona. My journey is not done. I am not alone. I'm owning my trials and my tribulations. I'm still learning, still sharing, still becoming. I no longer consciously think about my burn or my scars. I breathe with my full body. I'm finally comfortable in my own skin. I don't think about breathing anymore. I want to thank you. So many of you in this room over the last 3 days have shared your stories. They're powerful. Thank you for listening to mine. And I challenge those of you who have not shared your story. We all have them. Share your story, because regardless of the trauma's scale, you, like me, will find healing as you empower others. You too will breathe more fully and more freely with your whole body. If you will grant me 2 minutes, I have some people I really want to thank. Maybe. So, dear. A dear friend of mine drove down here from Albuquerque. Christina. There's more written. I just can't do it. To Diana. Thank you. All the women who have supported me and spoke before me. It's brave to get up here and do that. Kudos to you all. This week has been another awakening, and no words can truly convey how I feel. The support I've received, the friendships I've made. Can't read with tears. Especially yesterday. Thank you to the crones who were in my room. Where's Jen? I love you, my new friend. The amazing Zante, where are you? Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Teresa, Diane, Amelia, my gosh, my newest pals, thank you. I leave here today with a very full heart of wonder and renewed excitement for what's to come, and lean into the newly found friendships. And thank you, Amy, my coach. You're amazing. How they've described your process. It's amazing to work with you. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a safe trip home. I love you. Thank you.